working? Hello? Okay. We'll be short. We are close to lunch. You're starving. We all need a break. Thank you for being here. It's very impressive when we're on stage. So while, and as, so it's not working. Fine. You know, at Scality, we have a motto where we say we want to make the customer. I hope we do today, and I hope we do it every day. Well, we're talking about eat well. I hope you already did, and I hope you'll enjoy our lunch break later on. We also have one which is called Play Hard. So we were thinking, why not having a game contest for Scality Day? That was, to be honest, Samuel's idea, so thank you for it. And now it's about time. We had over 100 players, and now it's about time to display the winners. So hopefully I'm good at doing it. So here we go, high score. And which is the password? Okay, it's not real life, huh? Here we go. Here we go. Samuel, yeah. Data encrypted, ransom. I think there's something going wrong here. Can you please help?
Let me check. Oula, go to ransom. Here it is. Oula la 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 la. Worth and worth. Wow. Anyone with some extra Bitcoin, maybe? As a matter of fact, did you know that last year, 46% of the victims that paid the ransom weren't able to restore completely their data? My name is Samuel Lugassi. I'm a sales engineer for Scality, and together, we will find a better way than paying the ransom to get back your scores. By chance, we are running Vim Kasten to protect our Kubernetes environment. So let's have a look at the diagram of the restore operation we are going to do together and which wasn't planned at all. On the top, we see Scality backup administrator. Let's call her Geraldine. She's in charge of protecting Scality application, among them the Pacman application. Our application is running in Kubernetes. Pacman uses several pods. If a pod dies, a new one is launched automatically, so it's highly available, and that's the reason, by the way, why, even though we were hacked, the Pacman application is still up and running. Our application is writing its data into a MongoDB database where are stored your results. And this MongoDB database is using a persistent storage, and this is the storage that got encrypted by the hacker. On this server, we are running Vim Kasten, which writes a snapshot into Artesca, the simple and secure S3 object storage of Scality. And Artesca is writing, with his workflow replication, a copy of this snapshot to the sovereign cloud of one of the partners of Scality, which use the Ring as a foundation for their private cloud. By the way, what you see here is not a PowerPoint animation. We are using real system. This is the Vim Kasten interface running on our server, which, as you can see, discovered automatically the Pacman application. This is the snapshot policy, which is using Scality Artesca to store its snapshot, and those are the restore points. Among the numerous challenges of Geraldine when she's building her data protection plan, we have listed 3 major ones. And we are going to explain you how Scality technology address those challenges. The first challenge is simplicity. Geraldine has got many talents. She's excellent in backup, even better in sales, but but she's not an expert in S3 storage. And that's why we design Artesca for simplicity. Artesca starts as low as a single node, 20 terabytes. It can grow up to 6 nodes, up to 8 petabytes. It has an embedded operating system, which is fully managed by Scality. And this year, we introduced the connector page. The connector page shows to the Artesca administrator all the application she can plug in to Scality. It includes Scality automated assistant, new ones, improved ones, as well as online documentations. Among the new features of the automated assistant, the ability to add an application to an existing account. You don't have to create every time a new account. So very useful, for example, if the backup administrator wants to add Vim backup and replication on top of Vim Casten, but for the same department, for the marketing department, you see, we are allowing her to reuse the marketing department. She can even reuse the user within this department. Another very interesting feature, the ability for the assistant to create multiple buckets at once. This allows the application to distribute the load on those buckets in order to increase performance. So let's create 2 buckets, for example. Let's name them Vim1 and Vim2. And then we click continue, and Artesca is doing all the heavy lifting of configuring all the S3 space for the backup administrator. We then click continue, and we are presented with a certificate to establish the trust between the application and Artesca. And then Géraldine can use the copy all button to copy all the S3 parameters from Artesca into her application in order to complete, as you can see very easily, the configuration. But we are not only helping Géraldine during this initial configuration phase. We continue to provide her feedbacks in her day-to-day activities. So for example, if at some point on one of those 2 buckets, you see those are the Vim1 and Vim2 buckets the automated assistant created for us, if Géraldine wants to activate a Scality feature like S3 lifecycle expiration, we are warning her. You see, this is the yellow box. We are telling her this Scality feature will conflict with your Vim application. Therefore, we don't recommend you to activate this feature. The second challenge of the backup administrator is visibility. Géraldine is not only managing the protection of a Pacman application for Scality, she's managing the protection of hundreds of applications. Therefore, she needs visibility at scale. And this is even more true for Ring administrator. They manage thousands of accounts, billions of objects. That's why we just released Scality usage reporting, which allows to create capacity report accurately, near real time, and most importantly, at any scale. So when the backup administrator logs in to the S3 console of the Ring, this is where he stored the snapshot copy, he is presented with capacity metrics, except that those capacity metrics are not fed by the standard Scality utilization API, but they are fed by this brand new mechanism which can scale without limit. And of course, the administrator can query those metrics using an authenticated API as well. The last challenge we are going to discuss about, obviously, is security. We want to make sure that the snapshot and the copy of the snapshot are safe from the hacker. Both Artesca and the Ring support the S3 Object Lock API, which allows to create immutability. So when Geraldine logs in to the data browser of Artesca to check the snapshot of her Pacman application, you see a lock symbol on the left of the objects. Those are the objects for whom the retention period is not over, and the hacker cannot delete or modify the version of those objects, and not even the administrator of Artesca. And the same when we log in to the S3 browser of the ring to check the second copy of a snapshot. Again, we see a lock symbol. So we have immutability in Artesca and in the ring. Speaking about this second copy in the ring, we used to have active-passive replication between Artesca and the ring. It was good for disaster recovery, but it required some effort when the primary site was back online in order to synchronize the other way around, from the DR to the primary site, the data. We are releasing, as we speak, active replication. So no more hard work necessary when the primary site is back online. Data is automatically synchronized both ways. And what is very interesting is that this new mechanism allows us to preserve the version ID between the object in Artesca and the object in the ring. And this is the necessary condition for Vimkasten in order to recognize the object in the ring and to make use of this additional copy in case it's needed. For example, in case the primary site is down. Okay, so we covered Geraldine challenges, but let's not forget our challenge, which is to get back your scores. We could restore in place the data. Thank you very much. Don't you have whiskey? We could restore the data in place, but instead let's use another feature of Vimkasten, which is very interesting, which is the ability to restore the application somewhere else. So here is the somewhere else, on this side. We are going to migrate our application from Artesca to a server in the cloud. You see the cloud up there. This is an empty server with Kubernetes and Vimkasten, and that's it. And this is our sandbox where we can test the restore points. So if I go to the IP address of this server and I refresh my web browser, obviously, in this sandbox, there is no Pacman application. If I go to the Kasten interface of this sandbox, again, of course, Vimkasten did not recognize in the applications running in this server Pacman. And if I go to the restore points, there are no restore points. So we have a policy in this server which I'm going to run right now. And this policy is importing from Artesca to this sandbox the restore points, and once the restore points is imported, it will trigger a restore operation. So while it is doing that, let's review what we just learned. We said that when Geraldine used Vimkasten and Scality technology for her data protection plan, she used a solution which is simple. Artesca is designed for simplicity, and we just introduced the connector page with new and improved Scality automated assistant. She put in place a solution which is visible. Thanks to Scality usage reporting, she can now produce capacity report accurately, near real time, and most importantly, at scale. And of course, she put in place a solution which is secure. Thanks to the support of S3 object lock, she has immutability from end to end, from the first snapshot in Artesca to the copy of the snapshot in the ring. And thanks to the new active-active replication of Artesca, Vimkasten can now make use of this second copy in the ring. Okay, So let's have a look at the progress of our restore operation. I go to the dashboard. I click on our action. I see that the import component, the first component, is already done. So I should be able to see my restore point, which is here. In the application list, Vimkasten started to recognize that Pacman is running on my server. And here we are, the restore operation is completed. So now if I go to my sandbox and I refresh my sandbox, here is the Pacman application.
Voilà.
Hold on. We still need to see if the data is not encrypted. And if I click on iScore, here we are. Actually, the Bravo is for you, because thanks to all of you, we were able to restore the whole Kubernetes environment just in time so that Natalie can announce the winners of the Scality Day Pacman contest.
Exactly. Bravo. So, bravo Samuel, and bravo for the players. So it's about time now. It's about time now to give our prizes. So, who can see their name on the list? The 1, 2, 3, if you're there, because sometimes I have just see Simon or Romain. Is he here? Okay, please come. Same with Romain and same with Manuel. I see.
Félicitations.
Is Manuel here? Can I read If Manuel is not, you're Manuel? You're Christophe? Yes. Romain? But he's not here. Okay, so let's assume, because he's speaking, that he's coming. So, and it's about time now. So, well done. So, number 1 again. You're the number 1. Bravo. Bravo. So that's number 2. And number 3. Okay. I do the picture for Romain. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Merci.